The immune system, which is made up of special cells, proteins, tissues, and organs, defends people against germs and microorganisms every day. In most cases, the immune system does a great job of keeping people healthy and preventing infections. But sometimes problems with the immune system can lead to illness and infection. The immune system is the body's defense against infectious organisms and other invaders. Through a series of steps called the immune response, the immune system attacks organisms and substances that invade our systems and cause disease. The immune system is made up of a network of cells, tissues, and organs that work together to protect the body. The cells that are part of this defense system are white blood cells, or leukocytes. They come in two basic types, which combine to seek out and destroy the organisms or substances that cause disease. Leukocytes are produced or stored in many locations throughout the body, including the thymus, spleen, and bone marrow. For this reason, they are called the lymphoid organs. There are also clumps of lymphoid tissue throughout the body, primarily in the form of lymph nodes, that house the leukocytes. The leukocytes circulate through the body between the organs and nodes by means of the lymphatic vessels. Leukocytes can also circulate through the blood vessels. In this way, the immune system works in a coordinated manner to monitor the body for germs or substances that might cause problems. The two basic types of leukocytes are 1. Phagocytes, which are cells that chew up invading organisms. 2. Lymphocytes, cells that allow the body to remember and recognize previous invaders and help the body destroy them. A number of different cells are considered phagocytes. The most common type is the neutrophil, which primarily fights bacteria. If doctors are worried about a bacterial infection, they might order a blood test to see if a patient has an increased number of neutrophils triggered by the infection. Other types of phagocytes have their own jobs to make sure that the body responds appropriately to a specific type of invader. There are two kinds of lymphocytes, the B lymphocytes and the T lymphocytes. Lymphocytes start out in the bone marrow and either stay there and mature into B cells, or they leave for the thymus gland, where they mature into T cells. B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes have separate jobs to do. B lymphocytes are like the body's military intelligence system, seeking out their targets and sending defenses to lock onto them. T cells are like the soldiers, destroying the invaders that the intelligence system has identified. Here's how it works. Antigens are foreign substances that invade the body. When an antigen is detected, several types of cells work together to recognize and respond to it. These cells trigger the B lymphocytes to produce antibodies, specialized proteins that lock onto specific antigens. Antibodies and antigens fit together like a key in a lock. Once the B lymphocytes have produced antibodies, these antibodies continue to exist in a person's body, so that if the same antigen is presented to the immune system again, the antibodies are already there to do their job. That's why if someone gets sick with a certain disease, like chickenpox, that person typically doesn't get sick from it again. This is also why we use immunizations to prevent getting certain diseases. The immunization introduces the body to the antigen in a way that doesn't make a person sick, but it does allow the body to produce antibodies that will then protect that person from future attack by the germ or substance that produces that particular disease. Although antibodies can recognize an antigen and lock onto it, they are not capable of destroying it without help. That is the job of the T cells. The T cells are part of the system that destroys antigens that have been tagged by antibodies or cells that have been infected or somehow changed. There are actually T cells that are called killer cells. T cells are also involved in helping signal other cells, like phagocytes, to do their jobs. Antibodies can also neutralize toxins, poisonous or damaging substances, produced by different organisms. Lastly, antibodies can activate a group of proteins called complement that are also part of the immune system. Complement assists in killing bacteria, viruses, or infected cells. All of these specialized cells and parts of the immune system offer the body protection against disease. This protection is called immunity. Humans have three types of immunity: innate, adaptive, and passive. Everyone is born with innate or natural immunity, a type of general protection that humans have. Many of the germs that affect other species don't harm us. For example, the viruses that cause leukemia in cats or distemper in dogs don't affect humans. Innate immunity works both ways because some viruses that make humans ill, such as the virus that causes HIV/AIDS, don't make cats or dogs sick either. Innate immunity also includes the external barriers of the body, like the skin and mucous membranes, like those that line the nose, throat, and gastrointestinal tract, which are our first line of defense in preventing diseases from entering the body. If this outer defensive wall is broken, like if you get a cut, the skin attempts to heal the break quickly and special immune cells and the skin attack invading germs. We also have a second kind of protection called adaptive or active immunity. This type of immunity develops throughout our lives. Adaptive immunity involves the lymphocytes and develops as children and adults are exposed to diseases or immunized against diseases through vaccination. Passive immunity is borrowed from another source and it lasts for a short time. For example, antibodies in a mother's breast milk provide an infant with temporary immunity to diseases that the mother has been exposed to. This can help protect the infant against infection during the early years of childhood. Everyone's immune system is different. Some people never seem to get infections, whereas others seem to be sick all the time. As people get older, they usually become immune to more germs as the immune system comes into contact with more and more of them. That's why adults and teens tend to get fewer colds than kids. Their bodies have learned to recognize and immediately attack many of the viruses that cause colds. Disorders of the immune system can be broken down into 4 main categories. 1. Immunodeficiency disorders, primary or acquired. 2. Autoimmune disorders, in which the body's own immune system attacks its own tissue as foreign matter. 3. Allergic disorders, in which the immune system overreacts in response to an antigen. 4. Cancers of the immune system. Keep your immune system strong. You sure wouldn't want to miss school by being sick.